Okay, good morning. So in the previous class, we have seen the production planning and control, PPC. So in that, we have discussed the terms production system, production planning and control, and we have seen the main objectives. What are the main objectives of the production planning and control? And also, finally, we have discussed some factors about the importance or the advantages of production planning and control. Now we will see what are the factors, main factors which affect the production planning and control. So these are the main factors which affect the market. Okay, then factors which affect the PPC. First one is the market forecast. So what is a market forecast? How it affects the production planning and control. So any product which is produced in the firm or the production sector will be given or distributed to the market, or it is introduced to the market for the purpose of the sale or purchase. So this market forecast means we are forecasting the market or the future trends, how it will be, or what is the present trend. Based on that, if there is any new technologies are arriving, then what will be the effect of the market, or the what is the market after 1 week or after 1 year? What will be the market? That means that there should be a forecasting in the market regarding the market. So depending on that, the plans should be made. So depending on the market forecast, we have to plan, like whether we have to increase or decrease the manufacturing activity. So if there is a tremendous demand in for a particular product, like for example, nowadays people are more and more purchasing the oximeter and all. 1 year before, people are not at all seen this thing or not at all heard about the oximeter. But now what we see is in every home or every house, we have some oximeter or something like that. So this is a change in the trend. So we can even forecast, like some other components also will be there. So according to that, we can plan. So based on the market forecast or the whatever we forecast in the market, the plans should be changed. So that is the first factor. So these are the factors which affect the production planning and control. So now we will see how the market is, or the market forecast is affecting the plan. Then next is the type of the product. So how it affect the production planning and control. Okay, so any production planning, any PPC, production planning and control, this mainly depends on the complexity. So this depends on the complexity of the product and not what the product is, whether the product is anything X, Y, Z, anything, that not dependent, but it only depends on the, or mainly depends on the complexity. How complex it is, how complex the product is. So in order to control more complex products, then we need many records or many procedures are required. So depending on that, the planning also should be changed, or the planning also changes. For example, in case of more complex products like steam turbine or locomotives, etc., etc., we need a complex plan, or it takes much time for these complex products, or it may cost much for more complex products than the simple one like simple thing like even blanket or steam iron or small home appliances like that. These products require only a simple design, and so hence we can say their planning is also simple, or we need only a small effort for planning. So these all things that depending on the type of the product, whether it is a complex or simple, it affects the planning. So this is the second factor which affects the production planning. Similarly, the type of manufacturing, whether it is a continuous manufacturing. Suppose if there is a large continuous manufacturing plant, they are producing some standard products, then it requires only a less complicated process planning. So the planning is simple in that case. And the other case also, if it is not, then we need a complex planning process. So this is another case, that is type of manufacturing, whether it is a large continuous manufacturing or not. And finally, the size of the plant and volume of production. How much is the production, or how much product is to be produced. So the amount and intensity of production planning. So planning, how much planning is to be done, or at which intensity, that is amount and intensity. Amount and intensity. Amount of and intensity of planning. So the planning, how much we have to plan, or at which intensity we have to plan, these things are to be determined by the volume of production. So depending on the volume of production, we will see how much we have to plan. In the earlier case itself, these are all same points we are discussing. So depending whether we have to produce much more, then we have to have a more complex planning. And the intensity, how intense we have to plan, this all depends on the volume of production. So these are the main factors which affect the production planning and control. First one is the market forecast, then the type of product, then comes the type of manufacturing, and finally the size of the plant or the volume of production. Now we see the limitations of production planning and control. What are the disadvantages? So we have seen many advantages or objectives of the importance of the production planning. So better service to customer, few rush orders, etc., better control of inventory, reduced idle time, etc. Similarly, we have some limitations also, or disadvantages. So we'll see or move on to the limitations. First one, based on the assumption based on the assumption. That is, this planning, any planning, everything is based on certain assumptions. So whether the assumption is based on this assumption, we are creating the plan. Like some theories in we have learned, uh, based on the assumptions, we are creating the plan. So if the assumption is true, if what all assumptions we are predicting or keeping it as a standard, if it is true or prove correct, then the control will go smoothly. If the assumption goes wrong, then what happens is the planning and control will go weak. So that is the first limitation or the disadvantage. That is, any production plan or production planning and control is based on the certain assumptions. And if these assumptions go wrong, then what happens? It will go weak. Next is the rigidity. Rigidity. That is the plans. So we are making plan before the actual production, and if the plans are rigid, the rigid plans are making by the employers, then what happens is these employees or the workers, they have a tendency to resist the change in production level. They have a resistance. So that is the second limitation. Then next is the difficult for small firms. So this is actually the planning procedure. This now we will see in the next topic. We will see what are the functions of production planning. Basically, three categories: planning phase, action phase, control phase, and in that subdivisions are there that we will see. So totally, this is a time-consuming operation or a time-consuming process. So for small firms and all, this planning is very costly or difficult, not economical for small firms. For large firms, it is okay, but for the small firms, it is difficult because of the time consuming. And next is the costly, that already mentioned. That is, we have many functions related to the production planning, like planning, routing, scheduling, loading, dispatching, expediting, etc. We will see later. So for these functions, for each function, we have to recruit each individual or workers operating for that particular function. So totally, we can see the whole process is costly. And next is the time consuming, already discussed. That is, we have many functions. So for each function to occur, it will be huge time consuming. And finally, dependence on the external factors. That is, this planning and control. This planning and control becomes difficult in some point of time when there is some external factors affecting. That is, for example, some natural calamities. If some natural calamities like flood, earthquake, war, etc. happens, then there will be a break in the supply chain. Or if the technology changes, or the customer taste, or that is a desire of the, or the demand of the customer changes. The customer taste always changes. It is in the present time, he may have some taste. So after 1 or 2 months, that is not his desire. His interest may change, or his taste may change. So these external factors. So if there is rapid change in this change or the taste or the factors, then it will be difficult for the planning, proper planning. We cannot plan in a proper manner because these factors are always changing. So these are the main limitations of any production planning and control. So while the production planning and control is very useful, till then we have some limitations. That is the thing. That is, first of all, it is based on certain assumptions. So depending on whether it is true or false lies on the success of the production planning. Then next is the regarding the rigidity. If it is rigid, then it may resist the employees to change in the production level. Then comes the difficult for the small firms because it is much time consuming. Then comes the costly. So it is a costly because we have to recruit separate personnels for the each functions, and time consuming because we know there are a lot of functions under this category, that is production planning and control. So as a whole, we have the process is time consuming. And finally, we have seen the dependence of the external factors like technology changes, customer change in the customer's taste, then the change in government policies, then some calamities, natural calamities, break in the supply chain occurs due to the certain calamities like war, flood, earthquake, etc. So these are the limitations of a production planning and control. Now we'll move on to the next topic. There is a functions of production planning and control. So we have just mentioned the name. So these are the functions. So the production and planning and control, these have many functions, and this can be categorized into mainly three. That is the planning phase. So first three, that is planning, routing, and scheduling. These are combined in the planning phase, or the planning phase consists of three functions. That is, first one planning, routing, and scheduling. Then the action phase. Action phase contains loading and dispatching. And finally, the control phase, which contains the expediting or follow-up. So these are the functions of any production planning. So first of all, we are planning, then some actions are done using loading, and in that coming the loading and dispatching, and finally how it is controlled, or the production based on the feedback or anything, we control the production. So these are the three phases: planning phase, action phase, and control phase. And in that, the subsystems like planning, routing, scheduling, loading, dispatching, expediting, all we will be discussing now. So one by one. First one, planning phase. So this is the main or the important step in the production planning. And in that, the first one is the business plan or the production plan. So this is the sequence of operation in the planning phase. That is, first one, business plan, then comes the aggregate plan, then master production schedule, then material requirement planning. So simple thing. First one, business plan. Business plan means a overall plan, or here what we do is, okay, here we are making a statement. Statement of the firm, that is what the firm proposes to do in the future. So in the future, what is the overall plan? Just an overall plan, not a detailed plan. This is giving a just a statement of the future plan. Future plan. This is the business plan or production plan, and it is based on the main goals or the aim of the business, or the business goal, policy, demand forecast, and other informations. So based on this, we are creating a overall statement that is coming under the business plan, or the first procedure, or the planning phase. That is a business plan. So in business plan, so what is a business plan? It is a statement for the future plan, and it is based on these things, that is the base business goal, policies, demand forecast, and some other informations. So any business is having the objective, what is it, what it is intended to, or the product, final product, it is intended to do a particular purpose, or there is a objective for that, or what is the main goal of the production, that is to be determined and given in the detail. Then what are the policies, and what is the demand in the future, that is the demand forecast, and some other informations also. So based on these things, we are making the business plan. Now moving to aggregate plan. So what is an aggregate plan? So aggregate plan is nothing but it is also called the aggregate scheduling. Aggregate scheduling, that is mainly you can see here. That is, suppose we are having 9-month report, that is January, this is January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September. For January, I produce 40 motors. February, I produce 25 motors. March, I produce 55 motors. And like that, April 30, May, June, July, August, September. So for 9 months, here for this example, we have considered 9 months. 9 months. Usually it is from 3 to 18 months. That means a intermediate range. Not much more or not less. Intermediate range. Okay. So we can say it is an intermediate range scheduling. So here what we are doing is we are planning the quantity and time. That is a quantity. This is quantity is 40 and the time it is January. And here time is February and the quantity is 25. So here we are planning the quantity and timing of the output over the intermediate range. Intermediate range, that is 3 to 18 months. Here we have considered 9 months. So this is done by adjusting the production rate, employment, inventory, and other certain control parameters. So this is the aggregate planning. Aggregate planning. So in aggregate planning, what we are doing is we are planning the quantity and timing, mainly the quantity and timing. Quantity and timing. Okay. So this mainly use the forecast and other orders in the demand. So we can say the input for the aggregate planning. What are the inputs for aggregate planning, we can see there is the demand forecast. That is based on these things we are making the aggregate planning. Demand forecast, capacity, inventory levels, and workforce size. Workforce size. So based on these, we are preparing the aggregate planning. Okay. So now we see what is the aggregate planning. So first one was the business plan, where an overall plan is made based on the business goal, policy, demand forecast, and other informations. And it is mainly done annually or quarterly or monthly output. Next, that is in 2020 we have to do this thing. 2021 we have to do this one. 22 we have to do this. Like that we are doing in the business plan. Now coming to aggregate planning, we are considering the intermediate range, that is 3 to 18 months, 1.5 year, that duration. And how we have planned, we have seen the example like this. Now coming to more depth, that is the master production schedule, that is given in the next table. That is, here you can see in January total 40 is there, 40 motors are there. Now we are saying we are using 4 types of motors, that is 5 HP AC motor, 25 HP AC motor, 20 HP DC motor, and 10 HP DC motors. So out of this 40, how many are of the 5 HP motors? That is 15. And 25 HP motors are 20, 20 HP 0, 10 HP 4, sorry 5. So total it is 40. So the split up of the type of motors are also there. So this is little more specific, or the end product specific. So this type of planning is done in the later stage, that is the master production schedule. This is the master production schedule. Then comes the material resource planning. So we have seen first one, the business plan, then aggregate plan, master production schedule, and finally the materials requirement planning. That is how much material is required, or the quantity or timing of the acquisition of various raw materials, when to get this raw materials, or at how much quantity it is to be supplied. So these are coming under the materials requirement planning. So these 4 things are coming under the planning phase, planning function. This planning function is first among the functions of the planning phase. So in the planning phase itself, there are 3 functions: planning, routing, and scheduling. And in planning, the first one is the business plan, then comes the aggregate plan, then master production schedule, and finally master material requirement planning. Now we will move to next one, that is the routing. The routing that we will discuss in the next class.